Welcome to biology class. In the previous class, we have discussed the food factory of the plant, that is leaf. Today, we will learn about the most beautiful and colorful part of a plant. This part makes our surroundings pleasant and is also called the reproductive organ of the plant, as it produces seeds that can germinate and develop into new plant. By now, you must have guessed that I am talking about flower. So today, we will start our next chapter, the flower. The flower is brightly colored and is the most attractive part of a plant. So now, children, we will discuss the structure and various parts of a flower. Take any flower from your surroundings and hold it in your hand. The stalk with which you hold the flower is called pedicel. It attaches the flower to the stem. One end of the pedicel is attached to the stem and the other end is slightly flattened, where it bears the flower. This flattened part, where the flower is based upon, is called thalamus. Look at the diagram, children. The purple part is thalamus and pedicel. A typical flower consists of four whorls: calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. The first and outermost whorl of a flower is called calyx. Look at the flower. Above the thalamus, you can see several green leaf-like structure known as sepals, and together they make a whorl called calyx. Calyx encloses the bud of the flower. Thus, it protects the bud before it opens. The most attractive and brightly colored part of the flower are petals, which make up the second whorl of the flower called corolla. The main function performed by petals is to attract the insects like butterflies for pollination. Children, these two parts which we have discussed, sepals and petals, are known as accessory or non essential parts of a flower, as they do not directly take part in fertilization. Now, students, look at the center of this flower. You will be able to see very small, slender, filament like structure and feel dusty powder on it. These are stamens, which together make up the male reproductive part of the flower called androecium. Androecium is the male reproductive part of the flower. As you can see in this diagram, each stamen is made up of two parts: a thin, slender filament and a bilobed anther at its tips. This anther contains a yellow powdery substance called the pollen grains. Now look at the long structure in the center, which is little broader at its tip. This is the female reproductive part of the flower called pistil or carpel and forms the innermost whorl called gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower. Each pistil consists of three parts: ovary, style, and stigma. Look at the image carefully and you will be able to see a long tube-like structure called style, and at the tip of it is a disc-like part called stigma. The swollen part at the base is called ovary. This ovary contains egg-like structure called ovule.
Parts of flower. Flowers are the beautiful parts of a plant. They are important in making seeds. Therefore, they are the reproductive parts of a plant. Let's learn about their parts. Stamen is the male part of a flower and pistil is the female part of the flower. The stamen has two parts, anther and filament. The anther is generally yellow in color and carries the pollen. It is held up by a thread-like part called the filament. The pistil has three parts: stigma, style, and ovary. The stigma is the sticky surface on the top of the pistil. It traps and holds the pollen. The style is the tube-like structure that holds up the stigma, and the ovary contains the ovules. Other important parts of the flower are the petals and sepals. Petal is the colored part of a flower. The sepals are the green petal-like parts at the base of the flower. Receptacle is the part of a flower stalk where the parts of the flower are attached.
Children, today we have discussed different parts of the flower. In the online class tomorrow, I request you to keep one more flower with you so that we can quickly revise with that flower and you can clear your doubts. Thank you, children. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy. Stay safe.